guys, it's They and My Barbie, and this is my YouTube channel, obviously, just to state the obvious. I mean, you could be oblivious, but it's really not that, it's not that difficult. My actual name is Kaija, which literally is the epitome of all my issues, because I have a difficult ass name. Round of applause for that. Great. It's not a problem. Literally half of the world has like weird ass names that nobody asked for but definitely got. I'm one of those people. People genuinely have added letters into my name that don't exist. It's a whole thing. My nickname is Kiki, K-E-K-E, not K-I-K-I, because I know some people spell it otherwise. But this is my channel, and if you clicked on this video and you see the title of it in the thumbnail, it's about sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease is something that I have. Obviously, well, not obviously, I'm here to explain the partial of sickle cell disease and what it is, and then I'm going to be answering some questions that a lot of people have asked me over the course of my 19 years of living, and some of them are mad stupid, and then other questions are really good questions. So I'm just gonna address most of the basic questions that people ask me on a daily basis or just in general about sickle cell disease, and then I'm also going to explain a little bit about it, because sickle cell disease is kind of one of those things that is a little bit swept under the rug, up under the rug, because of the fact that people think that it is a predominantly or only African American disease, which I'm here to break that news that that is not true. So let me go back to the beginning. Sickle cell disease is a blood disease that is hereditary. So hereditary, if you guys don't remember from school, it means that it's biologically passed down through your parents. My mother and my father both had sickle cell trait, meaning that they were all one part of the puzzle. My dad had 50% and my mom had 50%. And when they conceived me, there was a 50-50 chance that I could come out with full-blown disease or not. And I got it. Also, excuse my dogs because you can hear them barking. They literally bark at air, so just disregard that. And basically, it's passed down, so you can't catch it. My mom literally had to explain that to a bunch of fourth graders when I was in the fourth grade. My mom had to come to school to explain to a bunch of fourth graders that sickle cell was not contagious. Part of the reason why is because I was an asshole as a kid and still am. And when people would figure out that I had it, I would cough on them and say, "Oh shit, you got it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do you like that." So she told me to stop because it was mean. And so she had to come to my school and explain that it wasn't contagious. And then when I got a little bit older and I got into middle school, for some reason people thought it was a sexually transmitted disease.
Who said that? Who said that?
And of course half of the bitches that said that probably had gonorrhea. So that's nor here nor there, but you know what I mean. I just thought it was strange how the older I got, there were always different rumors as to how you acquire sickle cell. You don't acquire it. It's something you are born with. So that's cleared up. It's hereditary. There are also several different branches of sickle cell anemia or disease. I have sickle cell SS, which is debatable as far as to which one is more severe. They're all severe if possible. However, I don't think that one is worse than the other. It's not a predominantly female disease. It's not a predominantly male disease. It's both. It's kind of 50-50. It also doesn't just affect African Americans. which for some reason, I don't know who the fuck said that, but I would not be surprised if the same people that said that black people couldn't swim and we fucking don't know how to float is the same bitch that started this rumor. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that somebody thinks that. But I have met people that are not of African descent that do have sickle cell anemia. You can get it if you're a European. Basically, countries that malaria is prevalent in, you can have the possibility of having sickle cell. Because it is kind of like malaria's cousin. Basically, I can't get malaria because in some sick, fucked up way, I already have it. So, I'm safe in that aspect. Can't get anything else. Sounds fun. But basically, yeah, that's pretty much the general idea. And what basically sickle cell means is your cells are sickled. So your red blood cells are crescent moon shapes. And everybody that doesn't have sickle cell has healthy red blood cells unless they have other underlying conditions. And mine's look like this. So basically my blood is throwing up crib signs, but that's besides the point. It's fine. My blood was just already out here betraying me from the start. And basically when your sickled cells pass through like areas like your veins, because your body's full of blood, there's not a part of your body that is left out of bounds for a sickle cell crisis to acquire, which is basically a buildup and a blockage of sickled cells in one particular area. So a lot of people have crises in their lower back, their legs, their elbows. I've had one in the weirdest spots. I've had one in my stomach. I've had one in my vagina. I'll make a whole story time about that. What? So it's very painful. It's extremely painful, but it's just kind of one of those things where you get the luck of the draw, and I got that luck apparently, or lack thereof. But yeah. And there are other underlying conditions that a lot of sickle cell patients have because of sickle cell, like they get acute chest syndrome, avascular necrosis, and I'll go into detail as far as to what those things mean in another video, just basically on the education portion of sickle cell. But this is more so about my story and what people have asked me personally, so I'm gonna, keep it moving as far as to explanation point. I think I explained it to the basics of it. It's hereditary, it causes pain, sometimes it can even cause death, but that's actually very, very, very slim to none now because of modern medicine. It still happens, not uncommon, but as far as to like people around me, I've only had one person in my life that I've ever known of in the history of having it to pass away from it. So I'm gonna get to the questions that people ask me. There's a trigger warning for idiocy. Yeah. So I'm just gonna put that out there. There may be some dumbass questions. So I have them written down on this index card. So the first question is, how does sickle cell affect me personally? So sickle cell affects me personally. Well, the question was, how does sickle cell affect me mentally and physically? Physically, it does take a toll on my body every now and then. I will have a crisis or two. Sometimes I have to be hospitalized for it, but it's just kind of one of those things where I'm so used to it, it doesn't affect me as much as it did when I was younger. Like, you'll never know that I'm in pain. Like, I will never tell you, and I don't like pity. That's my absolute fucking worst thing, is when someone feels bad for me. I don't like that. I don't like for people to act as if I'm broken. I don't like for people to treat me like I'm made of glass. And I damn sure don't want anybody giving me handouts because they think I can't do something. So, yeah, mentally it doesn't really affect me because I believe everything happens for a reason. So it's kind of like mind over matter in that sense. The next question was, can I have kids? I can have kids unless my vagina says otherwise. I don't know why people act as if my pussy is broken. That has nothing to do with my sickle cell. So, no, it's not broken. I can have kids. obviously there's always the risk that whoever I have children with, I make sure they get tested. I'd make sure, I don't have any children, I'd make sure that I know they don't have sickle cell or the trait, just because I don't want to jeopardize my kid's life. And there's always a big debate in the community as to, are you selfish for having children? Oh, sickle cell's a burden, I would never want to put that on kids, blase blase. However, that's up to the person. I personally think it's worth it, because my mom could have made the executive decision not to give birth to me because I was going to be born with sickle cell. And there's actually a test that you can take for numerous amounts of diseases and illnesses that you can figure out ahead of time before having your child. It's called the amniocentesis, and it's where they take amniotic fluid from the sac and test it based off of what disease or illness you were trying to find out your child has. But yes, I can have kids. I actually have friends and people that I know on like sickle cell communities that have up to 6 kids. So it's fucking possible. Don't get it twisted. I can have kids. Another one of the questions was, can I have sex? Yes, can and did. Next question. Y'all ain't gonna get to know about that. Period. Poo. Okay. You keep your life in the sheets private. Period. But yes, I can have sex. Again, my vagina is not broken. Had to explain that more than once. What kind of vitamins do you take or medications that are best for managing sickle cell? So this is a really good question. It's like not one of those questions that I'm kind of like, okay, are you serious right now? I used to be on a medication called folic acid, a prenatal vitamin, just like most of modern medicine. You can use it for multiple reasons. Folic acid, I stopped taking specifically for that reason, and so I'm taking a prenatal vitamin, like a woman's prenatal vitamin, partly because my doctor recommended it, and it made it a lot easier because I take numerous amounts of medicine. I got tired of taking that one medicine because I felt like it wasn't effective, because the reason they gave it to me was to create healthy red blood cells, healthy hemoglobin, but it was just not doing shit. It did make my hair grow though, just saying. But I switched to a gummy prenatal vitamin, which has like over 20 minerals and vitamins in it, which I think I'd recommend that to any woman because it works, okay? It does great. The next question is, if I have kids, how will they turn out? Like, how does that work? When I have children, will they get my disease? Obviously, you pass on whatever you have. In this case, I have sickle cell, so it is hereditary. So if I do decide to have children, they will partially get what I have. Now, depending on what my partner has or not is up to God. So it's just kind of one of those things where it's a gamble, just like I was. It's kind of one of those things that it's like, you can get it or you can't. Simple as that. There's no in between. Except the in between would be sickle cell trait. So, one question was, does sickle cell shorten my lifespan? Honestly, no. Nothing shortens my lifespan except for if I do the same dumbass shit half of the world does. My lifespan isn't shortened in any way unless I do things to shorten it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not advised to drink, smoke, blase blase. Your girl smokes Black and Mouse, so that's not even on the table. But I don't drink just because alcohol tastes like shit. I'm sorry. It tastes like hand sanitizer. Don't ask me how I know that, okay? It just does. Take my word for it. And there are people that genuinely have asked me this question and they're scared that I'm going to keel over and die if I say yes. No, it doesn't shorten my lifespan. The only thing that would shorten my lifespan is if I do something to shorten it. So, yes. Or if I have existing complications from my sickle cell, which I've been very blessed so far. In that aspect, I haven't had a transfusion, haven't had any transplants, so I'm very blessed in that aspect of shortening my lifespan. I'm 19 years old, and I really hope and pray to God that I have many more birthdays because I'm blessed to have even 19. Another question is, does it make me feel weak? It doesn't necessarily make me feel any weaker than I would. Like, I can get overwhelmed, like, with physical feelings. Like, I'll give you an example. Around when I was in high school and I would take tests naturally fucking stress me out. Like, I was low-key about to go fucking bald studying for my test. And it would, send me into a crisis if I tripped out. That's why, like, stress is not a good thing for sickle cell or any disease or bitch in general, like, for any person. Stress is not good. So if something stresses me out and I go into a crisis, it does make me feel tired. Sometimes I can sleep for hours, and then sometimes it's the opposite. I can't sleep at all, and I'm up until like 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I crash. So I notice a physical, loss of energy, but I'm not anemic. Some people are anemic, I'm not. So it doesn't cause me to feel fatigue on a daily basis. I'm lazy as shit, but I have normal amount of energy, Another question that was actually a really good question is, how do people react when I tell them? A lot of the times people either already know because I live in a small town and I've lived here for years, but people that I meet new, I don't just be like, hey, what's up? My name is Kaija. I got sickle cell. Because that's not a good conversation piece. But if I really care for you, or I see like you being in my life long, because you can't just let anybody into your life. Like, you have to protect and conserve your energy at all times. I will let people know. Like, it's not something that I'm ashamed of. I'm very vocal about it, and I'm actually a sickle cell patient advocate. So it's not something that I keep withheld. But I have had dudes that don't fucking understand, that are ignorant pieces of shit, that don't even deserve to be around me, sickle cell or not, okay, act as if I told them that I had a sexually transmitted disease. So, some people react. I can't choose how people react. I can only choose what the answers I give. I can only choose to give them correct information. How people react is their own choice. But I have had people like flip the fuck out. Like, I just told them I pissed in their cornflakes. And then I've had people go the opposite 180 and cater to me. Like, I had a best friend growing up that she would get pissed off if I wasn't drinking my water. She would get pissed off if I wasn't taking my hydroxyurea, which is a medication to increase healthy red blood cells, which is used for multiple purposes as well, like most medicine. And I love that about her. But I just don't like people treating me like I'm made of glass. I don't like people pretending as if I can't do everything that normal people can do, because I most definitely can. I went to public school. I went to parties. I was shaking that ass. I smoke, not weed, because my lungs can't handle that. I got a tattoo. I got piercings. I have 7 of them. So I did things that normal people can do. I was a cheerleader for 7 years. I did karate for 3. I didn't play any sports because I'm fucking clumsy and I would end up fucking everybody on the team up. But, people react differently. It's just kind of like one of those things. Like, you take what you can get. And then, like, one of the last questions that I have here is, do I have people that support me? Like, in my darkest hours. And what I mean by that is, do I have people supporting me when I'm having a crisis? I absolutely do. Like, I have numerous amounts of friends that understand I'm the queen of fucking saying, can we hang out later? Can we hang out tomorrow? Can I postpone this? Because sadly sometimes I have to put my life on hold for sickle cell. But it's to the point where I'm old enough to not let sickle cell rule me. I rule sickle cell, except for when it beats the fuck out of my ass when I'm having a crisis and I won't sit down. Because everybody's body that isn't made different. Your pain is a natural reaction to let your body know that something's wrong. So obviously I take heed to what my body's saying, but as a kid I just ignored the shit out of it. Like, I would go and play even though it was cold, and I knew that that was one of my triggers. But because I have this lovely mom that I have, when I'd come having a crisis, she'd be like, I told your ass not to be outside in the cold. You know, moms, especially black moms. She still took care of me, and she still does to this day. But I definitely have, you know, ignored. Of course, I love ignoring it, because I mean, I'm me. It doesn't define me, just like my hair doesn't define me. Me being cute doesn't define me. I have a great personality, so it's just kind of one of those things that it's a part of you, but it doesn't define you. But this is the end of the video, so if you would like it, you know, like how you like me, period. Nah, I'm messing with you, but press that like button. You know, definitely press that subscribe button, because you know what? It's free. I'm not asking for money. It's free. It's free to watch. It's free to like that button. It's free to subscribe. So, like, what the hell are you doing? You're just sitting here watching me and you haven't subscribed. But I most definitely hope that you please subscribe after this video. Or shit, even press the button before you get into the video. Because if you made it this far, you definitely need to subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, and you know, if you have any video ideas, drop them down in the comment box below. And all of my social media are going to be posted in the description box, and it's going to be in my intro and it's going to be in my outro. But yeah, my second video is probably going to be posted a little bit, probably about 2 to 3 days after this one. It's going to be on my skincare routine, because apparently people are really interested in seeing my skincare routine. Like, I will say, my skin was not always clear. You know, she's gone through it. I'm just saying. But yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and bye!